Alright. Hello everyone. What is going on? By the way, that popping is my chair and the cookie tin. Would you like a cookie? No? Alright. Your loss. Anyway, today I'm going to do a video response. And I'm going to talk about something that's a little taboo in our society. And it's something, of course, that ugostranges brought up, and that is the double standard. Oh yes, we all know about the double standard, or eventually learn about it later on in life. Now, for those of you who have lived under a rock, the double standard is basically where women want the same benefits as men, but they don't want any of the consequences or responsibilities. This is a problem also when it comes to how the opposite sex is being looked at. If men sleep with dozens of women, they're looked at as cool and personified. But in women's eyes, they're looked at as womanizers, whereas with women, if a woman has sex with a lot of other guys, she is looked at as a whore or a slut. And on the female side, it's pretty much the same opinion. Or rather, guys look at her as being too easy or too loose, if you will. This is a problem because I don't really honestly believe that it's fair that neither set. Really, to me, I say women and men both stand on equal ground and should suffer the same consequences for their actions. I say if a man and a woman actually have sex and they foster a child, regardless of whose fault it is, I say by law there should be a binding contract that pretty much the irresponsible male and the irresponsible female, or vice versa, whichever, you get the point that I'm getting at here, that they should basically stay there and either pay child support or help or be forced to raise said child. Now, this is going to sound a bit of a double standard in its own. However, this will weed out a lot of irresponsibility. So for those of you who are fools and don't like to wrap your tool, there's something for you to choke on. However, for the kind conservatives that actually do kind of use protection and stuff, I'm not really justifying sex in this case, but if you are actually using protection and stuff, I still kind of frown upon that. It's still kind of frowned upon, it's still kind of taboo, but it's just, all I'm basically saying is that pretty much when it comes to the lovemaking, both sexes are equally in the wrong. Oh yeah, sure, the woman has to carry the child for 9 months and give birth to it, and oh yeah, sure, Aunt Flo once a month has her bleed. That's fine. Those are the vast differences between women and men. Now, among the sex part of it, that's about as much as I can really cover. Now, workplace. This is the biggest one, the most important part of my argument. Women want the same kind of pay as a man, but they want the less responsibility, and they expect people to be more tolerable of them, I guess, because they have breasts and a vagina. In my eyes, there's a little bit of a leniency there, but not by much. Okay, it's like, okay, take into account that you're on your period, so you'll be a little bit more crazy than usual. but you will still be expected to be on your best behavior in the workplace, and you will still be able to actually function and do your work. So say you have to make incessant potty breaks because of Aunt Flo visiting. That's at least one standard that could be put in place, but one that I feel would also be abused at the same time. What I'm basically saying is take two. What I'm basically saying is that we should initiate what I call the fair play protocol. Yes, I know I'm using Michael Holt again for the umpteenth time, but I truly do believe in fair play. I believe that, everything should be equal for everybody. But you can't sit there and have your ice cream cake and your apple pie within the same plate. Otherwise, you'll end up kind of like this. Yeah. Not pretty. But my main point here, I guess in this video response, my main point, very simple to the line, is there should not be a double standard. A double standard should not exist. Because all that really does is that it favors one sex over the other, and it favors one race over the other. And the double standard doesn't just apply to male or female, it applies to even races. Like, oh, there's a double standard. So basically, a black person can say the N-word, but a white person can't. Or, this and that. It's like, no, I'm sorry. Fairness for everybody. If a black person is able to say the N-word, then I think a white person should be able to use the word honky or cracker. There you go. Yeah, I said it. It's taboo. But you know what? The way I see it, you shouldn't say things like that at all, period. Is the basic point there. I was trying to gather my thoughts there for a second. Because I'm just doing this off the cuff. I'm not really plotting this out. All I'm really saying is that, there shouldn't be double standards. For example, black people should not be able to say the N-word if a white person can't. And if women want the same pay and the same position as a guy, then they got to work just as hard and prove that they earn that position, because let me tell you something. That's what's happened to our society. We have become a society where everything is completely lopsided and unbalanced. And that's not really kind of fair. By my sense of logic, that's not the way the world should work. Fairness for everybody. No one person can have an upper advantage over another person. That I can't elaborate anything beyond those 2 points. No one person should have an advantage over somebody else. If somebody can walk and a paraplegic can't, it's not fair play. Because that paraplegic should not be condemned and swept aside from a job that somebody who can actually walk can. No, if that paraplegic can work in a glass making factory the same as someone who can walk, then I say let them. No one person should be completely exiled. But you know what? I'm okay with that. Because you know what? You know why I'm okay with it? Because you know what? Our society's going to crumble within. It's going to implode. And it's kind of sad that it's going to happen within this generation. It's pathetic. It's sad. I kind of expected better. But then again, I'm someone who's got way too many high hopes and expectations for how people should act. But even though this is a video response to You Go Strange, let me know, guys. Let me know what you actually think. Despite me stumbling kind of through this and doing it completely way off the cuff, do you guys kind of see the points that I'm making, and do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? Do you feel that maybe I probably should have thought this out a little bit better? Me personally, I think I should, but you know, that was just the points that I wanted to make in this video response. Is basically the race card thing, and pretty much the sexism towards both males and females in the workplace and in life and everything in general. Because, like I said, it's not really fair that one race or gender gets an advantage over the other. Well, that somebody with a disability is swept aside for somebody who doesn't. It's not right. The double standard should not exist. That should be something that should be completely thrown out the window.